But what are we talking about, Vinny? Tell us what we're going to be doing here.
Okay.
That
I
was
just
on my
want to welcome.
scripted card right here. I just said, tell Vinny to get going.
Well, I just want to welcome everyone and all to Why I Rise. It's the show that provides you a healthy combination of fun stories, encouraging anecdotes, and simply day to day tips to improve your everyday life. You don't have to have Parkinson's to come aboard, but if you
But it
don't,
helps.
well, if you don't, you learn things about anyone you has who do, like you've taught me. And if you do have Parkinson's, you're a PWP, as our host JM calls it, persons with Parkinson's, then you do want to tune in because in addition to some encouragement and some laughs, we hope to have technological and medical updates. And we're sponsored by the Parkinson's Wellness Fund, and they've agreed this is going to be kind of organic. Will we have guests? Probably. Will we have phone-ins? I don't know. But I just want to let you know that we're gonna do our best to entertain you and inform you. My name is Vinny DiGiulio, and people call me Cousin Vinny. You can call me that. And sitting before you is your host, lifelong Hollywood professional, my friend and PWP, Mr. JM Kenny. Hey, Jim.
Well, thank you,
Uh,
brother. And 2 out of 4 isn't bad of those last attributes. Yes, I am a
so,
person with Parkinson's. That is true. I was diagnosed in 2012, which is about 12 years ago. I'm not that much worse for the wear. You know, I get a lot of dyskinesia, a lot of bradykinesia, but for the most part, I've kind of taken this turn in my life where, when I was, first diagnosed, I went into the proverbial closet, and told nobody and didn't want to talk about it, didn't know what it meant to my career, or what it was going to mean to my future, or what it was going to mean to my family. And to this stage, it's been a lot of change in my life, but it's not all because of Parkinson's, and it's not all preparing for Parkinson's. It is what it is. And so this little show that we're doing here is after years of being in the entertainment industry and working with wonderful people like Vin, it just got to the point where I had a bunch of stories that I thought would be funny to put down in a book. And then some folks of mine started, talking to me and said, well, why don't you just do a podcast? That way you can just ramble like you always do. So it's going to be a lot of rambling, but I mean, hopefully it's coherent and it gets you to the point because I'm at the stage now where I've had the privilege to speak at a couple of events, a couple of webinars for the Parkinson's Foundation. I've spoken at this wonderful golf tournament that the Parkinson's Wellness Fund.org does. And, the idea of speaking to me is just to show people that I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a person that, has done amazing things, although I think I've had a lot of fun doing what I do. And
and a
people
lot of
might argue
success.
that point. But I just wanted to be a regular guy, and I wanted you to know what a regular guy goes through because in the end, that's what we all are. It's just our own sense of normal, our own sense of get up and go, and hopefully we can increase that and make the quality of life for each one and every one of us each day better than if we're sitting on the couch, like I am right now, writhing and feeling like shit. And it's just I don't want to be a portal to people to complain. I get it. I'm with you 100%. But let's try to figure out what can make you feel a little bit better, make you feel a little bit more happy.
Yeah, I
Are we
agree.
done?
Well, we're not done yet, unless you want to be. Listen, I thought it would be a good idea to touch on how we met, and that way the viewers can know why we've been in each other's personal and professional lives for over 20, 25 years. You want to take it? You want me to?
Well, I can start it off. I would say about 19. I was working in feature film. I was doing, I started as a production assistant, worked my way up to be a production coordinator, and then went to work for a visual effects company. And one of the things, among many things they did at that company, was they did a special edition Laserdisc. And to me, being a person who worked on Jurassic Park and Schindler's List and Flintstones, Casper, Congo, Twister, so forth and so on, I kind of had this feeling that, like I love the film industry and the actual making of the movie. It's sort of like when I was a young kid, 15 years old, maybe 14 years old. In the town that I lived in, the Alameda County Fair came into town every year for 13 or 15 or 16 days. And it was a carnival, and it was like the 4-H club, and it was horse racing for professional horse racing for 13 days, and live rock bands would play, and it was just an event. And it was the coolest thing in the summertime, and I would get super excited right before it came in, and I get super sad when it left. But I took a job there when I was like 14 or 15, working in what they called a floss wagon, which is a cotton candy wagon. And we also did corn dogs, and had, pink popcorn and regular popcorn and soft drinks and whatnot. But I was working with people that I just were just characters. We're just like crazy characters. Remember, these two guys ran the it's like down the midway. You take the machine gun and you try to shoot the star out. You ever play that? You ever do that?
Yeah.
And like the guy's going over with a microscope, going, well, there's a slight little red hair right here, so you get nothing. And I'm just like, oh wow, this is great. But I walk through there in the morning.
It's like the
because
jerk.
my dad,
the movie.
My dad would take me to the fair in the morning, because I would work the morning shift and have the evenings off. And I would go and have this little ritual. I'd go get a cup of coffee, and this lady made these homemade square, like this thick, cinnamon buns. And so I would get my cinnamon bun, and I would get my coffee, and I'd walk down the midway at about 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30 in the morning, and everybody was asleep. But they were asleep under their rides. So like the dudes that ran the machine gun with the BBs, their sleeping bags were just covered with little BB pellets, because they were sleeping through like, whatever. And I just thought these are crazy characters. And I was fascinated by the carnival, to the point where the girl that ran my wagon said, hey, you should come on the road with us. We're going to like something or other. And I just thought, I think this is cool, but I don't want to be sleeping on the floor with the BBs on my body, and or darts or whatever it may be. So
I'm running away with the circus.
yeah, and that's what my parents would have seen it. But in theory, I did run away with the circus. I studied acting and film production in college, and when I got to LA, I've never known any other job. I've just only worked as a PA, a production assistant, up to a production coordinator, to a producer to produce content for the studios. I've known no other business. So to me, when I go on the road with the film and we're doing behind the scenes, it's like the carnival. We come into your town, we set up our little tents, we do our thing, we shoot, we close it down and get out of there. It's like we were never there. And so that, after all that traveling and stuff, it led me to this job for Universal Studios, which was producing content to market films for the home video market. And I was in a meeting, and we were pitching. I can't remember if it was Fast Times or if it was Animal House or whatever. And we were sitting at a big conference table, and my boss Colleen, or my client Colleen, was introducing everybody. And there was this guy sitting at the end, and when there was a question, there was something said. I have a question. Yes, Vinny. How are you going to do this if you don't have that? And it was always like he would cut right through the bullshit, or you would cut right through the bullshit and just go, like, who is this guy? He's going to raise his hand again because he's going to pick this apart. And sure enough, he's up there in the back, like, I got a question again. Just banging around ideas. But we hit it off. And what was cool is we both were wearing pagers at the time, beepers, whatever they call them, because our wives were pregnant. I mean, Olivia is like, what, a month or two older than Claire, or younger?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think she's older by a couple of months. So, but those times were just awesome. I mean, JM came in with a pitch. I mean, the directors who were looking for the work would come into the studio. I was on the studio side, and they would pitch their concept. And it's no coincidence, before our friendship, that I loved every one of JM's pitches. And he's the one who came in with because I'm going to do the Animal House yearbook. And on his own, he went out and got Bruce McGill. He got Kevin Bacon. and he Karen Allen, and he had all these actors all lined up ready to speak for him. They didn't even have the gig yet, and I said, "Wow, this guy really puts his nose to the grindstone. This guy's awesome." But my favorite part of that whole thing is he was mentioning Colleen, the great Colleen Ben, who we both love and owe a lot to our careers to. He called me and he said, "Guess what? I got a call from Judy Belushi, John Belushi's widow." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "She wants to talk. She wants to be interviewed, speak on camera in my piece." So I said, "Great, do it." He goes, "I need another $8,000 because I got to go down to.
I got to go to the Cape. I got to live large
You
in
had to
Cape
go.
Cod.
Yeah, you had to go to Martha's Vineyard for.
Oh, that's right.
So then,
Martha's Vineyard was their place.
yeah. So then now I have to go tell Colleen. But that's how we worked. I wanted him to succeed because when he succeeded, I succeeded because I was his backer at the studio. So I just love this man, and we've been hanging out, ever since that first day. And people thought, "Oh, you're bringing your buddy in." I go, "No, no. He's a pro, and I just happen to like him, and now he's my buddy. But he isn't getting any he's not getting any nepo
Right.
jobs for me. I just like him, and he does a great job, and he always delivered on time, on budget. If he wasn't on budget, he would call us and say, "This is kind of going over. What do you think?" And I just love working with you, and I love being your friend.
Well, I second that emotion, and I'm grateful to hear that always. Um, not to bring it down, but when you get this type of disease, some of your friends struggle with the fact that you're not who you used to be, but you are. It's just that your body moves differently, or your body gets rigid in certain situations. And I got to tell you, I mean, as in that situation, it was working with my friends. It was working with and for my friends. And I just talked to an executive from Warner Brothers just about a week ago, and she's been out of the business and when I talk about the business, I'm talking about producing content to market home entertainment titles, or to produce content to market a theatrical release. So it's behind the scenes, making up deleted scenes, audio commentaries, all those things you get were known as added value or extra materials. We would be like archivists, and we would call through the mines of storage at Universal Studios and try to find some piece of footage from the Blues Brothers, or some piece of footage from Animal House that nobody's ever seen before, and bring it out and interview where are they now kind of thing. So when Tracy left Warner Brothers, it was like I felt like, God, I feel like I'm losing a friend, and we hadn't talked
That's what it's
in
like.
a
Yeah.
long time. We hadn't talked in probably a year and a half, 2 years. And she saw these videos that I've been doing for Parkinson's Wellness Fund, and she reached out and she said, "God, I didn't know. I really," she was so sweet. And at the end of the conversation, she said, "I just really felt like when we were all working together, it was a bunch of friends working together." And I was like, "It's absolutely correct." I mean, when she came with me um, we went to Savannah, Georgia, and did a thing with Paula Dean, and we were doing was a Warner Brothers title called Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn and a couple of people, and we got Katie Mixon, who played. He's a huge director now. Why can't I think of his name? Parkinson's.
Yeah, really. What was
He
it?
directed Iron Man. He directed. He was in.
Oh, John Favreau.
Thank you, thank you. So
How about
Favreau's love interest in the movie, Katie Mixon, beautiful woman, totally cool, just the greatest gal to hang out with. And
she was Melissa McCarthy's sister in Mike and Molly, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
She's an attractive woman.
oh, she's a sweetheart of a gal too, and she's just so down to earth and kind of southern, and so she said, "Listen, you know, Paula, what I want to do with Paula is I want to get her, and I want to get her in a headlock, but I don't want her to know that it's coming. So you think that'd be cool?" And I'm like, well, we're in Paula's kitchen, which is where she shoots her show. Her whole staff is around us. Her son, Bobby, is there. And I'm like, I'm going to say yes and hope to God that I don't get sued or something like that. But I went to her assistant and I said, "Listen," I pulled him aside. And I said, "Listen, this is what Katie wants to do. I think it would be hysterical. It'd be even funnier if even like Paula like resists a little bit." And she did this thing, and it was the funniest thing in the world. And Paula Dean literally turned to me and said, "That's the funniest thing I've ever done in my life." And what had happened is that she had these like these hair things that were like on a clip on a like a little comb, and it would go into her hair. It would fill out her hair. And Katie got her right in the thing and was just like pulling on the plastic, and Paul was like laughing, and I think Katie's even saying something like "tap out, bitch, tap out," something like that. And it was such an experience, because the cool thing about this job that we did is we were always coming with the understanding that, look, we're not here to make you look good or make you look bad. I mean, we're here to make you look good. We're not here to make you look bad. But we want you to enjoy it. We want you to participate. The more you give us, the more we can make out of it. And so when Tracy, like I said, when Tracy split, she's like, I just love the stuff when we traveled all together and we all did stuff. And, well, we did Rock of Ages together, and we went to, it was really funny. We went to Universal Studios to interview Def Leppard, because I had been able to get them on the road when I was in Florida, and they were totally cool. And they're like, "Hey, you guys want to stay for the show?" And I'm like, and I guess this is back in 2011, and Heart was opening up for them.
Oh.
And so when we got to the one in Florida, Heart was already on stage by the time we got set up for the interview. And so Def Leppard had to do their interviews before they went on, because we'd never get them after that because of all the sweat and everything like that. So we got the guys, and the manager comes in after we're wrapping up, and the guy, we pretty much buttoned everything up, and the manager says, "Hey, do you guys want to you guys want to come backstage and see the show?" Now, mind you, I'm 45 years old at the time. Been going to rock and roll concerts since I was 14. I think I saw Journey in 1979 or 1980 on the Infinity Tour, which was one of my first concerts, Day on the Green in Oakland, California. And I saw Styx and a band called The Babies. They were Chicago guys. In Might have been earlier that year at the Cow Palace. It was one was in the summer. Yeah, it would have been Journey. Then it would have been Styx. So I've been going to concerts forever, and I kept every ticket stub, and I have these great memories. And just like, I was a tinier guy, so I would weasel through the crowd to get my buddies up to closer, general admission. And I just went blank on where. So they said, "Do you want to interview Def Leppard?" And I was like, "Well, we had gotten to the set that day, and there was a sequence that Alec Baldwin and Russell Brand were doing." And Alec was sort of like not 100% probably confident, or he just didn't feel right. So he asked the publicist if they could send us, home. And so the publicist came out. She goes, "Well, I guess you guys can go golfing today. And, you're in Miami, Florida. It's like a lot of cool stuff to do." So
you were invited backstage. Definitely.
So it was sort of like so we went to do the interviews in 60 miles out of Miami, and we brought the makeup artist with us. We brought the sound guy with us. We brought the cameraman, and then I said, "Just pay for your mileage. Just bill me whatever it is going to be, and we'll just do this interview, and then we'll get out of there." So we did the interview, and everybody, it was like this energy backstage, and like Hearts people were coming, and I think they might even have an earlier opening act too, but I don't recall. I'm sorry, I keep kicking my little ring light. Does it make it me moving the camera? We're gonna have to edit that out. What was interesting is, after we did the interview, Mike Kobayashi came to us and said, "Would you guys like to stay for the show? The band really had fun." And he said, "We thought you guys were coming to kind of poke fun at the band because Def Leppard didn't lend their music to the Broadway show for whatever the reason. And it wasn't really their decision. It was a manager who was no longer with them at the time." So I said, "No, dude, look, I grew up on Def Leppard. I mean, I go back to 79 or 78, and that kind of stuff. So why don't you stay for the show?" And 45 years old, I'm standing there, and it's one of these things where the lights go down, you're like, like that big kind of like ominous music when the band's coming up, and you hear like, and you hear like, and then the guy's like, all of a sudden the guy points at us, and he goes, with the flashlight, he goes, "Come with me." So then the guy's flashlighting us to the edge of the stage. and we're standing there, and the lights come on, and the band starts jamming, and we're on Vivian Campbell's side, and he comes over, and he's like playing to us, and we're kind of on the side, so you could see us probably from the far left side of the stage, or the far right side of the stage as the audience is concerned, but we were on the far left side. And we're just having such a good time. And I look out at the audience and I'm like, I got a laminate. I've got a laminate. I've got a backstage pass. That's what I always wanted to do. And I look out at the crowd and I'm like, and everybody is my age. So it's like, there's so many, I mean, there are mothers with daughters, dads with sons, and the whole family's together to see Def Leppard. And I was like, this is not what I thought backstage was going to be. I thought it was going to be pandemonium, you know, and alcohol, and like the band's all drinking like veggie shakes and stuff like that. I'm like, where's all the decadence? You guys played on the Sunset Strip, for Christ's sake. But it was just like, you know, just amazing. But and one more comment with Tracy is after we got two really good interviews. One was a 3-shot, one was a 2-shot. There's 5 guys in the band, and then we said, well, I could do a little bit more. You know, we pitched a few more ideas for the DVD, and she got them approved. So we went and did an interview with them. We were supposed to do an interview with them at Universal Amphitheater. And Tracy and I are sitting there in this lounge backstage, waiting for the band to come out of its band meeting. And there's these 2 guys sitting across from us, and you know, they're having a conversation, and they're looking at us, and they're having a conversation. Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, how you doing? And I leaned over to Tracy and I go, they don't know who we are, so they're not sure. But that's the guitarist, the 2 guitarists for Heart, like or the bass player and the guitarist. And I said, so either we pretend like we're somebody that we're not, or we just, you know, downplay it, because they don't know who we are, and they're looking at us like, who are these 2 freaks sitting in this, you know? So we had a great time, and that's what it was really about. And part of what got me to be interested in doing this podcast was I really love the idea of life as an experience, and it can be very hard at times. It can be very easy at times. It can be unbelievably cool. It can be unbelievably sad. It can be unbelievably cruel. It can be unbelievably giving. But I have 2 daughters, and I always say to them, you know, the best times that I had when they ask me about traveling, and I've seen the world on the studio's dime for the most part, and I don't take that lightly, by the way, either. I mean, I'm not being flippant about it, but I said, no. if you're in a position, if you work in a place where people have to do cool things and travel or go do something, I said, the things that I just raised my hand for without even really knowing what it was going to be are some of the best experiences of my life, and some of the most terrifying, and some of the most surrealistic, and some of the most outrageously funny. And that this idea is to talk about never saying no, no matter how old you are or how affected you are by some particular illness, or in this case, Parkinson's. You can still do a lot of stuff. And I think that most of us feel that we don't look normal anymore. And like I said in a video on the Wellness Hunt, I said, I don't know what normal is. I don't think I've ever known what normal is.
Right.
I've tried to be normal, but I don't really know what I'm trying to be. You know, it's like you're trying to be cool.
But let me speak to something that you said earlier. You said that, you know, friends get uncomfortable, but you make people comfortable. People who are seeing you right now for the first time, you always say things like, well, my mind just went blank. You know, you muttered damn Parkinson's. And I remember I was very used to the dyskinesia, and you would always ask me, is this okay? Oh, yeah. I'm very used to it. But then that time you tightened up and you said that I freak you out. And I said, no, but you look like you were in pain. And you said you were. And so we're going to learn from you and other PWPs, because, you know, we got to know, you know, do you need to leave? And you're very, very good at that. And the other thing you are is you're a very upbeat guy. If you want to go home, you'll go home. But, you know, if you don't, you'll hang and stay. And that goes, you know, that's true to this day. And you do a lot of things, and you continue golfing, you know, you box, and I'm hoping that that inspires anybody watching. I mean, this is why I rise. I get up because I got a life to live, and that helps people without Parkinson's too. We got to get up. We got to go. We got kids. We got fun to have. We got life to experience. And yeah, you're my man, man. You're very inspirational.
Well, I appreciate hearing that, brother. And I think about that. It's all over the Instagram or the Facebook of the admiral who gives a
Mm-hmm.
commencement speech, and he tells you the first thing you should do is make your bed
Yeah.
because you've accomplished something right off the bat. And you know, I struggle like everybody else. Sometimes I struggle even more than others. It may be the Parkinson's, it may be my own laziness, it may be my own, disin, dis, disinterested in whatever. I mean, I have a great job. I maintain, and there's days that it's really hard. I mean, there's days when my fingers are not as fluid as they are right now. So it's like when you're trying to type, you're like, oh well, I'm like, or I can't put my hand over the mouse and then move my finger to the side to click it. It's just like, and it's terrifying, but at the same time, you're just like, well, this is kind of who I am, and this is what I have to do. And
And let me jump in here.
go.
What the viewers didn't see tonight was before we went on, I said, "How you doing?" You said it's not a great day, but you wanted to come on anyway, and I so admire that. That's awesome. Yeah. So you're not having a great day. We all have horrible days, but I love the fact that you didn't say, "Let's do it. Let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it right now." People
Yeah,
need
literally, like, sorry to cut you off, but literally,
no
like,
cut me.
walking up to push record on this thing, I was like, Vin will understand. I'll just bail out. I'll sit on the couch and I'll watch reruns of my favorite show, The Big Bang Theory, and just kind of whatever it, because hang on a second, I just want to plug this in, make sure it's plugged in. There we go. Because I'm feeling sorry for myself, and it's like I try to live by this mantra that um it makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to anybody else, but I always say there's there's good days and there's great days. There's not really a bad day when you're alive. I mean, and again, I'm not taking anything away from anybody. I'm sure there's 1,000 people who saw that and just went, "That's totally stupid." I mean, it's like we have really bad days. We just lost this. We just lost that. I get it. And I'm not being flippant about the idea of how you show up or how you approach something, because each person comes with their own set of rules and regulations and their own set of experiences. And sometimes we find somebody we can totally relate to, and we connect with them. Other times it's not as easy. But I really found that and just in having an amazing wife who doesn't let me slip through and just do whatever I want to do because, hey, I got Parkinson's. It's not a it's not a get into the club for free card. It comes with respect. People respect what you're doing, what you're going through, but at the same time, you don't get like a free license to just f off. And I've noticed that on days that I choose, literally, like I say to myself, I'm just going to be happy today. I mean, there's no real reason for me to feel bad. I remember when I was first kind of told that. It's like somebody said, just, you want to be happy, just choose to be happy. I'm like, yeah, just like that, just choose to be happy. Hey, want to go meet those girls over there? Yeah, we'll just go meet those. Oh, $1 million drops out of the sky. Hey, $1 million. And he's like, why not? And I'm like, what do you mean, why not? I mean, because I was looking at it from this totally like pessimistic, like this is bullshit, rah rah, guru. But what's interesting is what I found on my own was that it's a lot harder to be negative than it is to be happy.
Yeah.
And I come from an Irish Italian Brooklyn, New York family where negative is like the crown jewel. And I realized that it's like that what it is, like it takes many more muscles to frown than it does to smile.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's like if you just say, I'm just gonna choose to be happy. I'm not gonna let anything bother me. I know there's gonna be probably some stuff that's gonna hit LA traffic or whatever, whatever it may be. But the reality is that, you're not building a story, and you're not becoming the victim, and you're not placing blame on all these things externally from you because of the fact that you're just pissed off or you're negative or you're just, why me, why me, why me? And it's just a better way of going through it. And I was at a function, the 70th birthday party this Saturday night, and this guy said verbatim, almost like what I've always said about, when people are about to take, their last couple of breaths, or it's time for them to go. I've yet to meet a person that has told me a story about, you know, being there to watch their dad pass away, or being there to watch their mom pass away, or being there to watch their grandmother who they had a great relationship with. And I always say, like, did what was it? And they always say, like, you never hear somebody say, boy, if I could take one more conference call, if I could take one more business trip, to the plant. And it's like they want to be with their kids. They want to be with and these could be adult kids, but they want to buy time just to be with the people that they love. And I guess the question really comes down to, well, if you have Parkinson's and you're going to deteriorate, for lack of a better term, or you're going to, slide slowly into a state that, don't even want to think about, we have two ways of doing it. You can do it a happy way, or you can do it an angry way, or a sad way, or a pissed off way, or whatever. And it's just like, what is important to you? What do you want your life to be from this point forward? And what do you want your relationships to look like? Do you want, and everybody understands. I mean, I've been so blessed with you and with my family and my friends, and people have just, like, people that I've met, have just told me, like, just embrace it and don't be afraid of it, because, I love quoting Michael J. Fox, because he's somebody that I really truly appreciate and have yet to meet, but in my Hollywood career, somehow I'll put the pieces together and figure out how to shake his hand. But he was interviewed many years ago, and he said this quote, which I thought was really pretty much accurate, and it can be said in many different ways. But he said, if you worry about something and it doesn't come to fruition, which normally happens, you just wasted all that time. And he says, if you worry about something and it does come to fruition, now you got to worry about it again. So it's basically, don't worry about the bridge until we'll cross the bridge when we get there. You know what I mean? It's these sayings that have been in our lives for forever. But the reality is, it's truthful. I mean, it's really truthful. You have more choice and more control than you really believe you do.
Yeah, you've proven that. I mean, you're an up guy. You want to do things. And I remember one time you just in passing, you said, I have good days and I have great days. And that every human being should look at their life like that, because you're gonna have bad days, but why don't we make them the good days, and then the ones that are really good, make them great. I like that
Right.
phrase. We'll make t-shirts.
There you go. Exactly. It'd be great if that shirt said "Be kind, rewind."
I probably have one. Haven't started VHS.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where I started my career, and I'm just so happy that I met you, and that we've become friends, and our wives were friends, and everything was. It's been a great journey with you, and it's far from over. I hope we can continue to do this. I hope we get a listenership or a viewership, and like I said at the beginning, we're going to work organically with the blessings of the Parkinson's Wellness Fund to shape this into what it's supposed to be. And man, for having a good day instead of a great day, you just took us on a really great ride of how you handle things, because that was the concept of this podcast. Anyway, it's Jam's very positive, and he wants to share that. Jam and I kind of corny, but I think it's a great kind of. We're like paying forward. We feel good if we make somebody else feel good, and that's what we're trying to do. And we just hope you can laugh and the stories we think are fascinating,
Yeah.
but
Well,
Well, but it's not, not everybody has the experiences we had being backstage. I was on Apollo 13. I mean, we had hours and hours to talk about. But yeah, and I just think that for a first show and for not being a great day, I think you got your message across, Jam. I think that it is a great platform from which to launch, and maybe we should just sign off.
Well, all right. I was just going to say that we have been working on this idea for this cat podcast for quite a while, and we want to do it right. We want to basically give the information that is out there for that Parkinson's patients, or excuse me, people with Parkinson's would want. But also we want to have fun and entertain and bring on guests. And we working with Russell at the Parkinson's Wellness Fund. We want to basically find a way to do some experiences, some cool stuff where you might see these two anxiety-ridden guys jumping out of a plane, or kayaking again for the second time, which is a whole other story. But it's like we want to share our stories and hopefully hear from you about what's a similar story that you can share with us, because I think the more we can keep a community of Parkinson's people together, both caregivers as well as the actual PWP, then I think it's like any day you get out of the house, or any day you take a nice walk and the sun happens to be out or whatever, it's a great day. I mean, it's really a great day. And I know that there are all different levels of people, but we are hoping to find ways to get people to do the one thing maybe that they still would love to do. That one thing that they feel they maybe can't, but we're going to try to say, well, maybe you can, and here's how we can do it. I mean, why say can't when you can say I can, or focus on the things you can do and not the things you can't. Because I mean, I don't throw a baseball the way I used to throw a baseball, but I wasn't, when I could throw it, I wasn't going to win 20 games in the major leagues anyway. So what's the big deal up? I mean, I had an incredible softball career.
But you're still throwing because you have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, I love the game. I mean, it's like, to me, it's like I was saying to my wife the other day, I was something was stressing me out, but I wasn't allowing it, and I was just saying, I was in a great mood, and she's like, "Well, what brings this on?" And I'm like, "It's spring training. I mean, come on, it's like a beacon. It's like almost summertime. You know what I mean?" And so we can leave it at that, and we can say thank you guys for checking in. Check out Parkinson's with no apostrophe in front of the S. Parkinson'sWellnessFund.org. Parkinson'sWellnessFund.org. Hopefully, it'll pop up on the bottom here one of these days.
Yeah, it's a great organization. They're grassroots. I really love them. There's other places you can donate for for cure, and of course they work on that too. But really, what you need the money for is Jam wanted boxing lessons, and he was able to get it through the fund. And I don't know, I think they provide Uber rides to people who have to go to their physical therapy, and it's really a hands-on organization, and they're really encouraging JM to come out, and they've been posting pieces of him on Instagram just to try to get attention, get people to know who we are. And I just want to thank everybody coming in. Again, I'm Vinny, JM Kenny. I hope you all rise to a great day tomorrow.
Thanks, Vinny. See you guys. Peace.
Bye-bye.